Unaware of what was to come, I was just getting out of bed, starting my day like any other. As usual, I did 15 minutes of yoga to wake up my body. Afterward, I took a shower and curled my brown hair. That weekend, I was alone in my apartment. Both of my roommates had gone home for a few days. This happened often. I didn't like being alone, but I had no family or place to visit. Our paths had diverged years ago, and now I felt like the only one not going home during breaks. To be honest, I felt alone even when surrounded by people. I was studying biology and was on the verge of writing my thesis. But deep down, it wasn't what I truly wanted. After school, I was essentially pushed into studying science, though I had always dreamed of pursuing a singing career. But that dream wasn't accepted by my family. Now that I was free from their influence, I started to rethink my life. Maybe it could work out. And maybe, just maybe, I could finally be happy. That morning, I stared at my reflection in the mirror, into my own green eyes. The longer I looked, the more I realized that I was not happy. Tears began to well up in my eyes. As usual, when this happened, I tried to distract myself from the pain. I texted all my so-called friends, but it was no surprise that not a single one had even a minute for me. So I decided to go for a walk. But when I returned home, I broke down in tears. The loneliness and hopelessness were overwhelming. I began to spend more and more time researching how I could find happiness, how I could possibly pursue the career I truly wanted. Since no one understood or had time for me, there was no one to stop me either. I decided that I didn't want to feel sad and broken anymore. And if I was going to be alone anyway, why not be alone somewhere beautiful? I even considered not finishing my degree, but as time went on, I realized that wasn't an option after all. A few days later, one of my roommates returned. She had only been living with us for a few weeks, but we were beginning to become friends, or something like that. Her name was Ellie. She had blonde hair, blue eyes, and was studying art. At least part of her seemed to understand me, or she tried to. We would sometimes spend hours talking in the middle of the night, and that night was no different.
If this is what makes you happy, and you want to move to Los Angeles anyway, why not try now? If it doesn't work out, you can always come back.
Ellie said in a calming voice.
Because I am scared,
I replied, tears welling up in my eyes. We spent the rest of the night discussing our futures. Even though I kept my deepest desires to myself, that conversation helped me make a decision. I realized I should try it and go for it. I had nothing to lose after all. The following night, Ellie was out on a date, leaving me home alone once again. But this night would change everything. A storm was raging outside, and for the first time in days, the temperature had finally cooled down. I opened all the windows to let in the cool air, hoping to refresh the apartment even a little. Suddenly, there was a flash of bright light, so startling that I turned around instinctively, unsure of what it could be. And there it was.